All right, we're live. We're live. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Fun, Fresh and Footy with Pete and Ash. We're joined with a very, very special guest, former NRL player and the creator of the YKTR and YKTR sports brand, Isaac John. How you going, Ice?
Thanks. How are you? Sorry, was I meant to roll the intro then?
Roll the intro?
Was I meant to roll the intro then? I'm sorry, I got us mixed up.
Yeah. Well, too bad it's rolling.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Fun, Fresh and Footy with Pete and Ash. Oh, we hope you like that.
Radio. So we're so excited to have you on. Thanks so much for coming on.
Big fans.
Obviously,
Thanks for having me.
You know, you've had an amazing NRL career. We weren't, even though we are a footy podcast, we weren't looking to delve into it heaps. But the one question we did want to ask was, what's the most important thing or like lesson that you've learned playing professional footy?
Sort of discipline matters. So like everything that I've learned in football, I've sort of carried over to business. And like when I was doing things right off the field in football, my football was going well, and sort of the same thing crosses over to business as well. So when I'm eating right, when I'm in bed early, in sports, you're measured by score lines. In business, you're measured by money. And I find if I'm doing all those things right, usually get the scoreboard going my way, or usually get money going my way, or success going my way. So that's probably the biggest lesson.
Do you think that background did help in your business?
Yeah, of course. Probably the other lesson I did learn is like you learn to get over things pretty quickly. Like I'm pretty, like, sounds a little bit harsh, but kind of unemotional with a lot of things. Like in football, there's not many jobs in the world where you judge week by week, and not only are you judged by fans and critics, your coaches, your teammates. You have to go home and look yourself in the mirror and get back on the horse by Monday, Tuesday, and prepare. So there's not many jobs like that in the world. So I learned a lot of lessons from that. Obviously playing half back and half as well. I was happy to, I enjoyed like controlling the game, and whether we succeeded or lost and having that pressure on you. I really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed that in business as well. So it's kind of like this unemotional thing.
I feel like there's definitely always like a lot of pressure on the halves. Like if the team's going shit, it's always
coming from a 9 and 10 in rugby union who don't mind razzing the forwards, but then everyone kind of brushes over it. We're all having a beer by the end of it.
And when the game's on the line, like you want the ball in your hands and sort of
100%. And I can see how that relates to business as well.
Yeah, and some people like don't want that pressure. Some people do want it. So I was sort of always the type of person that I was happy to deal with that pressure. And if I missed, I'd get over it pretty quickly. And I think that skill set really helps in business.
I think you're definitely hitting it now, but you're doing very, very well. And even just with the YKTR sports stuff, like that's just taken off.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I love it. I love all that stuff that you pump out.
Yeah, that's exciting. And obviously we've got pretty big plans for that as well. So I really want to scale that out. But in terms of like an actual business model, it's probably not that great at the moment. In terms of branding and content, yeah, pretty much.
Make it till you make it, baby. So obviously I've been following your journey for about 3 years. I think the first podcast I ever listened to was the one you did with Sandor Earl, and then I was hooked from there. I've even got your YKTR crew neck on. Fangirl out today. It's like having a big cuddle. Love your clothes. I'm actually pumped for the She Knows drop as well. So I'll be definitely copying some of that. But look, for our listeners that may not know your story, can you just give us a really quick recap of your life and how YKTR started and to where you got to now?
Basically grew up in a country town. My dad was always my football coach. My mum was kind of like, if you don't do well in school you can't play football. So I'd always had that nice balance. Done well in school, used to just do enough to get past. Obviously was kind of naturally smart. School kind of came easy to me, so I could do enough to get past. I moved into football, and when I was sort of 21, I got injured, done my ACL, and a guy pushed me towards reading. And then whenever I played football, if I wasn't at football, I was at home reading and stuff like that. And obviously go into like sports biographies to start off with, then you move into self-development and business. And sort of one day I sort of found myself more interested in business than football. And kind of started to pursue it, and then tried multiple different things like drop shipping and all that sort of cliche type
I've heard
of
some
entrepreneurship.
some of the stuff you used to do.
Yeah, so like, and that was all part of the journey. And then sort of YKTR was the one that stuck, and sort of off the back of that, built a personal brand through podcasting and vlogging, and currently in 4 or 5 businesses at the moment, and probably expand out to a few more by year's end. So serial
that's
entrepreneur.
awesome. That's awesome.
It's fun. It's fun.
You
It's
feel
fun.
like you just got a taste for it, and then just like you just keep wanting to go more and more with it.
It's just fun. Like some guys go play golf for 3 hours. Like for me, like I'd get bored.
Yeah, fair
Some
enough.
guys play PlayStation for 6 hours. Yeah, that's like, I like coming to work. Like I had 3 conversations yesterday about businesses where I could potentially get equity and scale out and build. And those types of conversations are fun for me. And I sort of put up a thing like, don't mistake this as motivation. I'm not a motivated dude. I just find
We
this
were
stuff
actually
fun.
talking about
We
that.
literally were just talking about that as you jumped on. We're like, he's here.
So also we know you're a pretty big reader, but what book has influenced you the most, like in your career and your life, and like,
It's like-
Probably got too
or
many.
even just like what's one you would just recommend for people starting out, or just people just in general?
for people that don't read.
The Alchemist. It's sort of Will Smith's favorite book as well. And he was sort of someone I really looked up to when I was maybe about 2010, 2011. I sort of watched this YouTube clip and he was talking, and I was like, I associated him as like a comedian and someone who was funny and not with smart.
Oh, we've just frozen a touch.
And stuff like that. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. You keep going. You've just sort of frozen just a tiny bit. There you go.
Oh,
Good,
okay.
you're back.
We're back.
All right. Yeah. So he recommended a book called The Alchemist. Really easy read. Pretty great story behind it. So I sort of always recommend that one to someone. But there's a guy I follow, Naval Ravikant. He says, read what you love until you learn to love to read.
Yeah. I feel like, and like you said at the start, you started with sports documentaries, autobiographies. I think the last book I did read was the Cameron Smith one, and I think I just enjoyed it because it was purely about footy. So it was an easy read for me. But then, when you start getting a little bit more in depth and personal development and stuff, I kind of it's harder for me to turn my brain on, especially late at night. But
of course. And like with self-development, you can sort of go too much. Like some people are always looking for the next self-development book and sort of start. So ask me, what's your best book you've read about business? The best book of most I've learned about business is actually like doing business or learning from failures. It's like, what's the best book to learn about playing footy? Like you learn footy by playing footy, and
100%.
business is different. So I never really so that's kind of my thing right now. I'm not as big on reading at the moment, but I'm learning all my lessons, like being out on the field or in the field in business. So that's where I'm at.
Cool. Yeah, just trial and error.
With that, not just reading, when you were starting business, was that just all self-taught, or did you do some sort of little bit of a business degree or something?
Nah, I was just on to online courses. I sort of found Gary V when I started like in business, and I used to watch his stuff every single day and listen to his stuff every single day. So that was a big part of my education. When I lived in I got rid of my TV when I had no TV for about 3 years, and I was just cranking like every day. I'd wake up, work. If I wasn't working, I was reading. If I wasn't reading, I was doing online courses, and I was fucked. I was hardly eating, had hardly any money, but a lot of self-education, but I was overweight. I was stressed. Like I could never sleep. I'd go to sleep at like 2 and wake up.
You kind of didn't have that balance as well.
I've only kind of figured out balance probably this year. So that's,
can you teach me?
I needed that time. Incoming. I needed that time because like I spent a year and a half just cranking out books and like, you know what I mean? And after that 18 months, stuff started going my way.
Yeah.
Your brain would have been melting.
Well, I said it to everyone, like I'm at uni now, but I reckon if everyone was just like motivated enough, we honestly wouldn't even need uni. Like you could do everything you need online or like through little stuff. Like it's
this whole podcast that we have done has literally been built off the back of me YouTubing how to even turn that roadcaster on. Like, I have no idea how to do anything. So I just jump on YouTube for everything. It's great. It's a great platform.
Yeah, and that's like the University of YouTube is like how I've learned, and Lukey, who a lot of people know through this platform, everything he's been taught is through YouTube and Googling, and I don't know.
Shout out
so
to
much
Luke, because
Yeah,
I've hit him up a couple of times for help with some of the stuff, and he's awesome. He always gets back to me pretty quickly. So shout out to him.
Yeah, he's got a big heart, so he loves to help people as well, and he's a massive asset to our team here anyway.
I bet he is. So speaking of like your brand, the YKTR brand, and obviously the YKTR Sports, and then as we touched on before, motivation. What actually motivates you guys to pump out as much content as what you do? Like we just had one of your vlogs playing on the TV before you turned up. You're constantly posting on Instagram. You're constantly pumping out vlogs, which is awesome. Like we would love to be able to find the time to do stuff like that. We both work full time and Eddie's at uni, but how do you guys find that motivation? And is that motivation always there? Are the ideas always there?
We've got a pretty good team now. So so obviously if one person's working on a day or half a day, you can pump out 6. Doing it's like job when people come here to work. This is the standard. This is what you have to do.
Yep.
Like this is the minimum 6 per day, and I don't think enough else.
Hold on,
It's just cutting out a little bit at the moment. Sorry,
you're freezing just a tiny bit.
Just give it a second.
The part of
We look good, but you've just frozen. There you go. He's back. So sorry, I caught a little bit of that. You've built yourself a bigger team. Obviously you've got expectations for them. Did I hear you say you need at least 6 pieces of content on Instagram per day? Is that right?
Yeah. So each page has got about 6 pieces of content. But like if you look at a lot of our content, it's just tweets, and they're my highest engaging. So
yeah, they look like they're just easy to make.
Yeah, so that's like this morning. There's pieces of content I put out already.
We're already talking about it.
Yeah.
So, but they're behind it. Work care and if I have to, and the internet for so long, and you got to try and somehow competing against a lot of big companies, that sports media. We try a little bit different. So we're just gonna
The internet is not loving us today. We're sort of struggling to hear what you're saying. It's just cutting out a little bit.
Is it your Wi-Fi or our Wi-Fi?
Oh no, let me check.
The Wi-Fi I'm doomed.
Right. Do you want me to try and quickly check? Wait, hold on. Oh, Jacko, is the office internet all right here, or is that still slow? No, internet.
Hold on, guys. We're just doing the Wi-Fi checks. Hope you're enjoying the podcast.
We're actually just switching over internet at the moment. We're getting this mad one soon. But
I heard you were getting the mad one. We were hoping you'd had it by now, but
I'm running off my phone.
The old hotspot.
Where's my home button?
Can't even remember where we're up to.
Sorry, girl.
No, you're good. You're good. As long as it's not us.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sorry, we're just gonna have to roll with it.
No, that's all good.
That's all right.
We can hear you at the moment. So
we can hear you.
Fingers crossed it just sort of stays like that.
You just freeze up every now and then, but that's all right. We won't judge you for that. So yeah, you're pumping out all this content. You touched something on the last thing I heard was something about sports media. So do you quickly want to elaborate on that before?
We're fighting for attention. So you think of Fox Sports, they've got $1 million backings and all these fancy lights and stuff. And I don't feel like you really need that, but that's essentially our competition. So we're fighting hard for competition, and we do that through quality and also like quantity. So we try and pump out as much as possible.
Just another quick question. So you said like the 6 posts per day. Is that to sort of keep you within that Instagram algorithm, to sort of keep you at the top of everyone's? Is that how that works? I'm not really familiar with how Instagram algorithms work.
Just touch points. So like you just want your brand to be in front of people, but you want it to be like not annoying. It's not like, we're not always trying to sell you clothes. We do bacon and egg reviews. We do business chats. We do sports chats. We're trying to hit you from all these different angles so we can get a touch point somewhere. So when it does come time for you to actually buy a shirt or a hoodie, you're like, oh shit, I need a hoodie. Maybe I should support these boys. So that's kind of
100%.
that's kind of the strategy.
It's smart. We should do that.
Yeah.
We need to start pumping out some more stories and reels. We've actually just gotten into the reel game, so we're enjoying making. Yeah, we're they're fucking woeful, but we are enjoying making them.
So sort of that's kind of just rolled into our next thing. Like, any advice for our page or tips for young players in the podcast game in terms of like extra engagement or just like getting that level up kind of thing?
You guys are doing it now, so obviously getting guests on, and you can leverage off their platforms as well. I think micro contents are one that a lot of people don't maximize. So say this podcast goes for half an hour, and I say 5 things that should be 5 pieces of content. So there should be a photo of me with a little quote card down the bottom. Each of these questions could be broken up into micro pieces of content. So like, Fox Sports is our big competition, so I'm chasing attention. That should be like a piece of content. The other side of it is the way I sort of do podcasts. So I do guest ones. So I'll jump on you guys. I'll get the audio back. That'll turn into a podcast on mine. I do Q&As a lot. So
that was something we sort of discussed the other night, doing Q&A, easy stuff.
Yeah, easy. And then I do solo ones as well. So I think last week I was booked in for like 12 to 15 like podcasts. So and then if you go, say if I get 5 quote cards out of all of those and 3 pieces of micro content, that's how I can post 6 times a day.
Well, we sort of have delved into that. So like the couple of guests, like we've only just started taking guests on. So I think you're lucky number 4 or something. And we've just been taking little snippets of that and then posting it as a reel. Someone told me that reels get more engagement than stories. So I don't know whether that's true or not. And just taking just a tiny little bit that might be funny, or you might be interesting or whatever.
Think of it.
You might be popping up in our reels, potentially.
Think of it as like a preview on a movie. Like, go watch movies. You need something to entice them, and usually the best way you entice someone is by putting the best part at the start. So if you look at our podcast, we don't do it all the time, but sometimes we put the best part of the podcast right at the start.
Yeah, actually, I have noticed you've been doing that, especially with the ones with scope and like your YKTR sports ones.
Yeah, that's that's strategy. So we do that, and then it rolls into
normal
start. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. So we do stuff like that.
Yeah, mad. Did you do this last one or?
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for making creative content obviously
the podcast is sort of the creative content,
the podcast is the creative content, but is there a way that we can level up to sort of monetize off it, or how do we get to the next level so we can sort of get sponsorships or even paid ads or whatever, just so it's not just a little hobby that we do once a week?
Yeah, obviously you got to get attention first. Attention's like how you get paid. So there's three ways you can sort of monetize, and sort of 2 ways, like ad placement. So this podcast is brought to you by Kelly Partners. Is one that I use. Built a great relationship with them. 2 is product. You guys can actually do like obviously we've got like YKTR, so people see us wearing this in a podcast and they want to support it. You can do Patreons as well, if you guys know about that.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
So Patreon's basically people pay like a subscription each month and go, here's $5 a month or $10 a month, and we'll support you. And obviously if you get that at scale, that's a pretty good way. But the next one is probably the exciting one, events. So once you build up your profile, you can actually do an event at, say we go to a pub and we're going to watch a game of football. All right, guys, we're going to be here. All 3 of us are going to be here. It's $50 a ticket.
We did actually make a joke about live streaming the doing like a footy companion for game 3.
Yeah.
I don't know who would watch it or who would want to come and listen to us two dribble, but that would be exciting for the future if that's something that we could do, because like we both love getting behind the mic and talking and interacting with people. So that's a really good one.
Probably one way you guys could scale out your content a lot quicker is probably you two girls talk on stuff that's not always about football. Do you know what I mean? You might be like Love Island might start and you guys might have an opinion on that. So there's those podcasts called Shameless. Like those girls just talk about the randomest fucking shit, but it's entertaining.
We do find we get a little bit like normally it's like the second half is all footy and the first half we sort of just get a bit off track. We just talk about everything going on in our lives.
Well, that was actually another question that I think we just skimmed over, because obviously footy runs, it is called Fun, Fresh and Footy. And like, we're not footy analysts by any means. We both play rugby union for starters, but we just are massive Sydney Roosters fans and love talking about footy. The podcast itself was made as a bit of a joke for our girls tipping competition. We thought, we'll be dickheads and we'll preview the rounds and make a video out of it. And then I went hell for leather and bought all the equipment and said, no, we're making a podcast. so obviously football only runs for 26 weeks. It finishes in October. We are trying to sort of get we're having meetings now where what are we going to do in the off season, because we want to still keep this going. So like you said, we might have to have an episode on fucking the Too Hot to Handle season, or a new restaurant or a brewery that's opened up in Newcastle, get more guests on and stuff like that.
That's the go. Like if you look at me, like I talk about a bunch of different things. Like people see me as a business guy, but I'll be talking about sports cards. I'll be doing like food reviews. I'll be talking about random as shit. And it makes you just a lot more diverse. Like my content, like I've got a photo of my dog and I don't pigeon myself into a certain thing. And that way I can make content scale. So you guys should be talking about reality TV. You guys should be talking obviously about food spots, potential dates that you've been on, worst dates that you've been on, advice for single girls.
We can do a beer review.
And shit like that. And that's how you can make content at scale. So you're not dependent on NRL or you're not dependent on football.
Do you think in a way that then our name is like sort of a deterrent then, like because potentially we could be delving into other things, but people don't love footy, so they wouldn't go for a Fun Fresh Footy podcast?
Yeah, it's not hard to change your name.
Yeah, we'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
We just refer to ourselves as Triple F and we can't tell them why.
That's like people used to see YKTR and they're like, what does that stand for? And I was like, the rules. And they kind of like trying to figure it out. Like, no with a K. Like, so it's like something like that's got a touch point where they actually have to think about it. It makes it a little bit more memorable.
We might have to do a rebranding session after this podcast.
And like there's a lot of great girl podcasts out there that are killing it, and you girls can give an alternative to perspective. So even like obviously Jordan was a big part coming into YKTR, but like he talks like the most shit out of anyone. Like
I love Jordan. I love Jordan's room. I think that is one of the funniest blokes ever. I'd love to have a beer with Jordan.
I mean, the funny thing is he's like that all the time. He's not like a character that he's putting on. Like he's just
his personality.
He's just got a weird train. He's just got a weird train of thought. And like I wanted someone that wanted to be talking about sex and dating, and he was sort of my friend that was kind of into that sort of scene.
Oh well, tell him we'll jump on. We'll have a yarn with him about whatever.
Cruisy. Yeah, he will have a yarn about honestly anything. He's so fucking random.
I love it.
Obviously, like we've had a couple guests, but they've all just sort of been like people from around Newey and stuff. Like having you is definitely like our biggest guest, and we're so grateful that you've come on. And obviously, it was just because you were giving out the service, like allowing people to come on your podcast, which we think is amazing. Like it's so lovely that you take the time for people, like small podcasts, that kind of thing. But like, have you got any tips for like reaching out to higher profile guests? Like if this wasn't a service you'd put out, like how would you like people to approach it if they were trying to get you on their podcast kind of thing?
I like when people come to me prepared. Like there's times where people have come to me and they might only get like 5 listeners, and I'll happily jump on those types, but they've come prepared. They're like, hey, this is sort of my backstory. This is what I'm about. And it's almost just like, it's like when you go out and like, if you talk to one girl and she denies you, your chances of pulling a if you talk to 20 girls, like, do you know what I mean? If you step up to the plate and have a few more swings, and you guys just might do a carbon, and I'm always about scale and moving quickly. I'll just have one template that I placements, bang, inbox, bang, and and I
Yeah.
inboxed 20 people that I actually wanted to interview. Like you said, like if you try and talk to one girl and she bounces you and you get scared off the back of that, you probably don't deserve the pool. So if you go up to
Well,
20,
that's
you
it.
probably
If
look a little bit
you
slutty.
knock on one door and compared to knocking on 100 doors, surely someone will answer. So surely someone will answer our.
Yeah, and I like there was a guy I jumped on. He's from America, and he goes like, "I can't offer you anything. I can't." He goes, "But let me know if anything I can do for you." And like the effort that he actually put in was worth like an hour. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, "Oh, bro,
Yeah,
I
that's
appreciate
mad.
this effort."
Yeah.
Yeah, so stuff like that is really important, and like you're gonna get no's. That's just the game. I get no's, so
Yeah.
I go. I'll jump on. I've had Mark Boris and shit on and stuff like that. But you can obviously leverage my name now too. Like,
Yeah,
we will
100%.
be. Oh, we will be.
Yeah, for sure.
we
Yeah,
I'm
will
so
be.
excited for this. We haven't told anyone yet, really.
Yeah,
Haven't told all our mates
we've
yet.
kept it a big secret.
Well, like in
and
case it turns to shit, we'll just like keep it like
heaps low key. In case your Wi-Fi get fucking up.
YKTR's got shit internet. That's what I've learned.
Well, that's all the formalities done. We do know that you're a big Newcastle Knights fan, and obviously we are Novocastrians. So obviously you're a big fan of Joey growing up, and yeah, when the Knights aren't doing too great this season, but we thought we'd quickly throw in a bit of Knights trivia to test your knowledge to finish off.
Yeah.
Something a bit fun and fresh to finish off. All right. So Peter, you remember which buttons to press?
I got the buttons, I think.
Peter doesn't normally.
I'm not normally in charge of the roadcaster, but we're like sitting in a different spot today, so I'm like
everything. We're in shambles. All right, Isaac, who scored the winning try in the '97 grand final?
Darren Albert.
well done.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I got it.
Good. I was like, it's just gonna be awkward silences after we ask questions.
I should have said no.
Congratulations. Good. All right.
When did Newcastle join the comp?
88.
Well done. 2 from 2. These might be too easy now. So what year did Newcastle change their logo from the knight facing left to right?
Oh shit.
To move forward.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, so we were facing. It was originally facing left, and the idea was to make it face right, so the club could move forward. Yeah, so they could move forward.
Rebrand. I don't know. I'm just going to go 99.
It was very recently. It was 2020.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they only did it last year.
Oh shit.
Who is the 2021 top point scorer? And a bonus point if you can get how many points?
So Kaylin's not even playing. Who's kicking goals right now?
A better goal kicker than how Kaylin's going, to be honest.
I haven't even been watching the Knights once Kaylin's out.
Wow.
Bit rough, eh? I don't even know who's kicking at the moment. I know. Is it a random answer or?
Kind of.
He's definitely the person that's been kicking. He's a forward. He's mad. I love watching him.
Yeah,
he's got the funniest.
Oh no, sorry, Mitch Barnett.
Yes.
Oh,
do you want to have a stab at how many? What point he's on?
So 2 he was scored hardly any tries. Newcastle hasn't. 58.
Ooh, 38.
Close.
I won't give you the.
We won't give you the want, but it was 30.
You got the main
38.
question right.
Nowhere near Nathan Cleary.
No.
That was pretty dismal trying to actually find him on NRL.com yesterday. Final one. So do you remember the final score in the round 8 game against the Chooks at Newcastle?
This year?
Yeah. Yes.
No.
We only like this one because we're Chooks fans. And
we only like this one because we flogged you 38-4. 38-4. But we also did lose 2 men to ACL injuries, unfortunately.
Yeah. We were actually there watching that one live. It was such a sad.
Why do you guys support the Chooks? That's weird.
Well, I'm from Maxville, so I like.
That's further north.
I know, but when you're from a country town, you're allowed to pick whoever you want because there's no team that's nearby.
I loved Minicello always as a kid,
and Craig Fitzgibbon,
Craig Fitzgibbon, and they're all hot boys. And then I don't know, it just
my dad was from also.
It just
pardon?
Is Craig Fitzgibbon hot?
Bloody oath, love a bald man.
Yeah, bald man. Why not? Nah, Craig Wing, we mean. All right, two last questions, and then we'll get out of your hair. We really, really, really appreciate your time today, Isaac. This has been awesome. So, Petey, do you want to ask first one?
So, what is the best advice you've ever been given?
This is weird. I want to say one of my own things. Is that all right? Can I say that?
He's going to pull one of his Twitter cards out.
One of but like this is it's kind of Gary V where he sort of said like, but I kind of rephrase it as like, I measure success as the first 5 seconds of the day, and are you excited to get up or are you not? So everything I do in life is about chasing that first 5 seconds in the morning, and if I'm excited to get up or not, I'll keep heading that way if I am.
I was excited and nervous this morning when I got up.
That's actually such good advice, but because I feel like sometimes you just like get up and you're like lethargic as hell and you just like don't even want to. But that means you just change that mindset of like.
But that means you could be in the wrong job or podcasting.
But like sometimes even when you've got exciting things going on, you're just like you should just get up and think about the good things you got on and just be like, bloody hell.
Yeah. So like you know the difference between most people know the difference between a Monday and a Saturday in the morning and how they sort of feel. So like my life right now, and because I love everything about it, it's kind of like a holiday. So you know when you go on holiday, it's not like today's Wednesday, Thursday. It's more so like we got here like 4 days ago, and we've got 3 more days left till we fly out. You know, holidays are kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what my life's like now. It's not like Monday feels like Monday's coming. It's like shit. We launch tomorrow. All right, that must mean it's Thursday. Shit like
that's heaps good. And you must get out of you must wake up feeling all right because you're running at like 3 a.m. in the morning and crap like that.
I like getting up early, so that's my thing.
I'm glad that.
Do you go to bed early too, or are you just like running on no sleep all the time?
No, I go to bed about 8 o'clock. So
yeah.
I eat dinner.
I'm a 6 o'clock dinner girl.
Yeah, I eat dinner at 5.
6 o'clock dinner, 8 o'clock bed. I love that. All right, to finish off, so what's one motto that you live your life by?
You know the rules.
Oh, all right. Well, what we'll do, we'll finish it there. Thank you so much. Grateful as.
Yeah, this has been amazing. We've had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. We've actually got a lot of great ideas from you as well, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And all the best with YKTR and YKTR Sports, and hopefully we can do this again in the future.
Yeah, thanks. Get me on in episode number 100. So thanks for having me on, and
looking forward to hook it up.
What was that last bit? Sorry, I missed it.
Looking forward to seeing you girls succeed.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank you. All right, that's it. Blue.
Later.
All I do is win, no matter what.